So just a quick overview for those of you who don't know the Vizcachitas project. It's a copper moly project at a PEA stage. And Vizcachitas is the largest undeveloped copper project in South America that remains independent. We are in the same metallogenic belt with Palambra is 70 kilometers to the north of us, Rio Branco, Los Bronces to the south of us, and El Teniente to the south. Same age, same type of mineralization. And one way of looking at Vizcachitas is to think of Palambra, say, in the 90s. We believe it has that potential. Now, Vizcachitas has got a long history, and what I'd like you to try and do conceptually is forget it. Yeah? Please just forget everything you've heard about Vizcachitas, and I'm here now to try and update you and tell you about the new Vizcachitas. So when I came on board, there was various drilling. Placidome drilled 6 holes in 1993. General Minerals drilled 60s in 1997. And Los Andes Copper, under other management, the previous management, they drilled 70-odd holes in 2008. And that was how we got the project. And we took it on board. We wanted to do some drilling, but we couldn't. So we actually went ahead and did a PEA to demonstrate there were no fatal flaws for the project. We then spoke to various companies and signed NDA agreements with them. And one of the companies that came to site was Antofagasta. And they sent Gonzalo Saldias up to site along with Rene Enriquez. And one of the things that they discovered when they started looking through the core, that there was some problem with the original logging, and that the geological model that had been developed was wrong. What they concentrated on was looking for the sources. Where's the copper come from? Where is the original intrusives? And that's what they identified. The early diorite porphyry is the main source of the copper for the project, associated with hydrothermal breccias. So as things happen in this world, the Antofagasta Minerals went through a retrenching, and one of the person that was let go was Gonzalo Saldias. So we very happily took him on board because not only had a good look at the project, but he liked the project. So we then put Gonzalo Saldias onto the project, dedicating him to relog all 40 kilometers of the core. One of the nice things about Vizcachitas is that we've got all the core, the Placidome, the General Minerals, and the Los Andes core. So he relogged it, and together we developed a new geological model. And this is the model where we identify the early diorite porphyry and the hydrothermal breccias as being the main ore carriers in the project. We did this in a traditional way. Gonzalo was at site. Any problems, he could go and look at the core, and we built up a sectional model and cross sections. We went through that, and then we were able, on the back of that, to raise some money locally, and we drilled 3,600 meters of drilling. So here's just essentially an outline of the model with the hydrothermal breccias and the early diorite porphyry that we could identify in the old drill holes. So then in 2016, we raised enough money to go and drill 3,600 meters. And that confirmed the geological model that we had developed. Then, on the back of that, we've been talking to RCF, Resource Capital Funds, for a while. And when they saw the results from the 2015 drilling, they then believed the story that we've been telling them over the last couple of years. And we were then able to raise, in December 2016, $6 million. And that's the funds that we've used for this current work program. So here you can see the drill holes that we have drilled in 2017. And essentially what we've done here is we've checked, continued to verify the new geological model and the extensions of the good mineralization that we found in 2015. So we only got 15 minutes for each of us to talk, so I'm just going to take you through a couple of sections. So we'll have a look at, oh, sorry, gone back. we'll have a look at this here, section 1600 and section 2100, which are in the northern parts of the project. So, this is section 1600, where 220 meters to the north of this, in 2015, we drilled hole V2015-08. Now that hole drilled 502 meters at 0.63 copper, which is a copper equivalent grade of 0.7 copper, from 130 meters depth. So it's not deep, it starts near surface with interesting grades in the supergene. Also, the drilling, as you can see here, so the historical holes, the ones with the black collars, and our hole 3 here, for example, where we have 40 meters from the top of bedrock running at 0.74 copper. Also hole 7 here, which is this hole here, which we drilled from another old collar. Again, we have grades running 102 meters at 0.62. So what we've able to demonstrate here from this drilling and combining the historical information with our new drilling is this near-surface, supergene-enriched mineralization that will form the part of the starter pit of a possible project. But also, we've got these grades that came out of the geological model that we developed with Gonzalo, where you have got 0.81 in the hydrothermal breccias and 0.6 down here in the at depth. So now we can demonstrate that we have 600 meters vertical extension of good mineralization from the supergene mineralization down into good primary grades. So we're going. This is section 2100, and on the background, I've got the block model from the 2014 PEA. And this shows the hole here, which is, this is V39, which is a hole drilled by General Minerals. The last 25 meters of that drill hole runs at 0.6 copper. And that was one of the things that sort of called out the attention, because in the old logging, that whole hole was logged as the same rock type, same alteration. But Gonzalo and the team have been able to pick out and identify this early diorite porphyry and therefore explain why we have these sudden changes in grade. It's because it's a different intrusive and this early diorite porphyry that carries these sort of grades at depth. So this is the current situation. Same section. We drilled 2 holes to target. So there's V39. We drilled this hole here, V2017-05, drilling from the diatreme, which has come up through the mineralization. We like to think of it as our Braden pipe. So we drilled out of the unmineralized diatreme, aiming for the early diorite porphyry that was identified in V39. And we got an intersection there from 100 and, let me just, double check. So yeah, from 170 meters, when we first came out of the diatreme, we're running at 0.45 copper, which is 0.5 copper equivalent, over a length of 146 meters. With those good results, and then the hole continued on into hydrothermal breccia. So you can see here with these great good grades at depth in the primary material. We then drilled hole 10, which is this hole here, 100 meters to the north to check the extension of that mineralization. And again, with intersection there, we've got 500 meters at 0.57 copper. And at the end of the hole, we've identified bornite. Now, I suggest if you want to come and discuss further things, maybe come out to the core shack after the session. We've got the core out there. We've got hole 39 out there. We've got our new hole. So I'd be very interested to demonstrate and show you the core. So there, what we now have, we can show in this, the northernmost drill hole in the project, we've got over 800 meters of vertical mineralization. This mineralization almost certainly gets up to the gravels. These are recent gravels in the riverbed. So just in the summary, as I was saying, we've drilled the 8,000 meters today. We are reassaying. One of the other nice things about the project is that we have 80% of the old pulps. We are reanalyzing 1996 pulps using ICP-MS massa analysis. So we will now be able to see, going from just having copper moly grades, we will now have the full suite of assay results for the project. In November, we will have the metallurgical test results coming back. We're doing a lot of work related to the grind rate. And then we will also publish an updated National Instrument 43101 resource estimate, which Tetra Tech are now preparing. In January, we are going to publish a preliminary economic assessment or scoping study for the project. We will look at two cases. One case will be the sort of mega project, 180,000 tons per day, which will maximize the NPV for the project. And we'll also really concentrate on the sort of starter case. And a starter case for Vizcachitas is probably somewhere between 40 and 60,000 tons per day with a reasonable and smaller capex. Something that a group like us could take forward. And then once we publish that in January, we will then be going on into a pre-feasibility study for that smaller case. So any further information, as I was suggesting, you can come out to speak to Gonzalo and I in the core shack. It's along the balcony over the other side where the meeting rooms are. We will have a whole news stream coming out over the next few weeks, as I explained, through to the PEA at the beginning of next year. And also, we will be preparing the information for, we'll have the news stream coming out of the next thing. So also, in celebration of 200 years of the Ejército Liberador de los Andes, when they crossed the Andes, Google decided to send their Street View machine up our valley. So from Mendoza to San Felipe, you can now get your Google Maps out and you can go and have a look at our project, the whole valley, in fact, see our project. And it's a nice combination, a bit like us, I think, where combining old, very reliable technology with professionals with experience with new technology. Thank you very much.